There are many elements of a game that makes it stand out from the competition. Some games have an engaging narrative that's driven by strong characters. Some games have an addictive competitive multiplayer experience. And some games just draw you in to their vast, immersive open worlds. But today, I'm going to talk about a game that doesn't really focus on any of the things that I just mentioned. Nope, this game stands out because of one thing. Its brilliant gameplay that weaves complexity through simplicity. Welcome everyone to my analysis of Monster Hunter World. Now, Monster Hunter World revolves around one simple gameplay loop. You hunt monsters to gather materials, you craft and upgrade your weapons and armor, then you hunt even stronger monsters. If you've never played a Monster Hunter game before, you probably think this sounds incredibly boring and repetitive. But I'm here to tell you that it's not. In fact, it's probably one of the most satisfying and rewarding experiences you can get from any game. And that's because of the underlying complexity involved with each aspect of this simple gameplay loop. Let's start with the weapon mechanics. As soon as you start Monster Hunter World, you immediately get access to all the 14 weapon types in the game, and throughout the game you can freely switch between any of them. But each of these 14 weapons feel and operate very differently. Seriously, every time you use a different weapon, it can feel like you just started playing a different game. That's how complex each of these weapons are. For example, the Charge Blade is a weapon that can act as a sword and shield at one moment, allowing you to be more mobile and have the defensive utilities of a shield. But then the next, the sword and shield combine together to make an imposing axe that can deal out massive damage with its super amped elemental discharge. Another example, which is entirely different from the Charge Blade, is the Insect Glaive. This acrobatic weapon is not only a pleasure to watch, but has its own unique mechanics. With a focus on vaulting through the air and making precise hits, the Insect Glaive also comes with a little Kinsect that you can shoot at different parts of a monster to gain different buffs. These are just two examples. Every weapon in Monster Hunter has its own moves, combos, and timing to master, and there's a whopping 14 of them for you to learn. That's complexity. But what good is having great weapons if you don't have great monsters to unleash them on? And I promise you, that's not an issue here. If anything, the monsters are the real stars of the show. Each monster has its own quirks and personality, along with an arsenal of moves ready to destroy any unprepared hunter. But it wouldn't be right to talk about the monsters without talking about the world. You see, the true complexity of each hunt isn't just about the monster, but how it behaves and interacts within a complex ecosystem. On any given hunt, you might have expertly used various bombs, traps, and environmental hazards to weaken a monster, when all of a sudden, yeah, those of you that have played Monster Hunter World know exactly what I'm talking about. But the point remains that each monster is unique, and each hunt can be unpredictable. As a hunter, you don't gain experience through levels or through some experience bar. No, you gain experience by learning every monster's tendencies and weaknesses and how to navigate the worlds they live in. That's complexity. So I've talked about hunting monsters in our gameplay loop, but what about crafting and upgrading weapons and armor? Well, I can assure you that it's just as deep and complex. Remember when I mentioned that there were 14 different weapon types? Yeah, each of those has its own expansive weapon trees with various styles, elements, and status effects. Aside from the weapons, the armor system is even more complex. Each piece of armor comes with its own armor skill that can significantly affect how your character plays within battle. The skills range from your basic attack and defense boost to skills like Speed Eater, which allows you to consume potions quicker, or Weakness Exploit, which allows for a greater chance of critical hits when you hit monster weak spots. Additionally, some armor sets come with set bonuses, which give you even more abilities. In fact, putting together your armor set can almost feel like a puzzle when you're trying to optimize your armor skills to the way you play. You could probably spend hours just creating different types of mixed armor sets for different situations. That's complexity. Now I want to throw out that I'm not trying to say that Monster Hunter World is a perfect game, or even a game that's made for everyone. Certainly this level of complexity can be daunting at first, and maybe even a deterrent to some gamers. But in a landscape where there are games that have become more flash than substance, and games that have disappointed their franchises, Monster Hunter World deserves a lot of credit for embracing its complexities and creating an experience that pleases longtime fans as well as hooks newcomers. I've talked quite a bit about how Monster Hunter World does this with its gameplay loop, but I've only scratched the surface with the different mechanics in the game. There's an impressive item crafting system to make different items like potions, traps, bombs, or ammo coatings. There are different mantles that give your hunter different abilities, and I haven't even mentioned your feline Palico companion. But that's because I wanted to stick with the simplicity in Monster Hunter: hunting monsters and crafting weapons and armor. That's the loop that will keep you playing Monster Hunter World for hours. But it's the distinct weapon types, unique monsters, intricate world, and elaborate armor system that will make you enjoy your time playing. Now that's complexity through simplicity.